Hello, YouTube. This is attempt number, I don't know, 20 something. I've lost count. Something keeps screwing it up when I'm trying to shoot this video. I'm starting to think it's cursed or something. I don't really have time to go in it. I want to make sure I get under the limits. But anyway, I kept going over a 2 gigabyte file size, and that messes up camstudio when it tries to recombine the audio and video channels when you end the video. And then sometimes I was going over the 15-minute limit of YouTube, and then other times I was just screwing up. I've one of the things that I finally figured out why I kept going over 2 gigabytes, and I finally figured out how to prevent it. If you've seen in my other videos, I sometimes, when I'm syncing, I have a habit of looking back and forth and everything inside the world, and I've noticed that I do it so much that and moving around and everything, it really drives up the video file size, like incredibly. Like, I was totally surprised when I was forcefully restraining myself from doing that, how much smaller the file size was. So if anybody else has that problem with their videos, see, the more you move around, the more the graphics update, the more the graphics change, the more the video has to record, which drives up the file size much quicker. Okay, so I messed with the frames per second and everything, and hopefully I'll get it under the limits this time. Okay, enough speaking. I've wasted 2 minutes. I saw a video the other day by Minecraft ADD, self-repairing Spleef arena. So I decided to take my own shot at it using my mass cobblestone design, because they were using single block cobblestone generators in opposite corners and then just pushing them into place. And it was 13 by 13, and it took a full 4 minutes to generate an empty floor. And this design that I threw together is 24 by 24, and I've clocked it at under 30 seconds. So a huge improvement, I think. I will demonstrate the repair now. Just so you know, there is a graphical glitch. There's a bit of a lag for the graphics on my computer for some reason. It doesn't show it repairing over there, but it is. It's just not showing right away. So before you think it's broken or something. And give it a second, it should show. There it went. And it's done. Only take a couple seconds, and you're back to like new. Next I will show if the floor is completely destroyed. Okay, now you'll see, fire it up again. There is a bit of a hiccup with the timing for the center couple blocks. Every couple cycles it'll hiccup like that. See, there's a little hiccup there. It's because of how it's wired. It just makes it hiccup every couple cycles. It doesn't really stop it from generating. So it's not really a breaker, so I'll make do. Okay, I showed that. I will show the circuitry now. Make sure you turn it off, disable the clock when you're playing the Spleef, or whatever, or whenever you're not regenerating, basically. Because otherwise it'll keep repairing itself as you're trying to play Spleef, and nobody will win. Or lose or anything. Also, the clock I'm using, the way I have it wired, if it's running while it's, or basically I think any repeater clock that's running when the game is saved and then loaded again while it's running, repeaters can get stuck on. And you'll have to break a piece of circuit next to them or place a block or something to get it to fire again and then replace it. Anyway, this basic timing circuit, it's a clock circuit here. In multiplayer you might lag a bit. Might have to increase the delay, or if you're not using a spring block at every position, it might be a bit more inconsistent with generation, so you might have to increase the delay there. I like to use a spring block at every position along the line because I find it makes the most uniform cobblestone generation and the fastest. Anyway, that's connected to a monostable circuit which limits the on pulse to 1 or 2 ticks. I think it's 2. I'm not sure, but could be 1. So that most of the time this stays off, which gives the most time. So basically, it only turns on long enough to move the block, and then turns off and stays off longer, so that it'll have the most time to generate the cobblestone. I think this monostable circuit is like a huge help when for cobblestone generation, because it really optimizes it. Anyway, I had a request in my mass cobblestone generator video to show the circuitry for it, and this is basically 2 mass cobblestone generators back to back. So it's basically the same thing with a little bit more complicated, this part here. Basic design, you have a repeater at the start of the pistons up here and the start of the pistons over there to power the redstone line, which powers the pistons. This one uses repeaters to go into the base and everything. You could probably use a torch setup too, I don't know. But that can only go 15 long because of the lengths of redstone. If you want to go longer, you need a secondary signal line that you can place repeaters on. You cannot replace repeaters in the line over here, because then you'll have a gap, because the signal will not go into that repeater here. Anyway, so that boosts the signal to get it over there. You have to use a repeater so it acts like a diode, so it only travels the signal one way. You do not want the signal going back and forth, because it'll get stuck in a loop and act like a latch and stay on. I've learned this the hard way as I was wiring it. And if it stays on, then it can't generate more cobble, and then we'll just freeze the machine there, basically. I had to mess with the timing, even though I thought if it was wired the same up top and below, then the timing should be exactly the same, but because there's a bit of overlap, I think it fires the center pistons like twice, and that messes with the timing, so you gotta adjust the timing on these to compensate. Maybe somebody can do a better job than I did. I just kind of clicked on the repeaters randomly until it started working again. Basic cobblestone generation, lava flowing next to water, sideways into water, whatever. I might make a forget. Furnaces limit how high the wall gets. I made it stop here for like a viewing area. You can go 4 or 5 higher than that, and it will regenerate up that high. Or you can just build on top of that at however high you want, but that won't regenerate. I have the wire going along the top of here instead of powering repeaters to power this, because and it has to go up here. It can't just be down here because the redstone powers the block which powers that. But if you have it behind there, it only sends power at the ends of where the redstone is, so it will not power those if you do that. These furnaces are actually not needed. The pistons are on either side are so far apart there's no way they can push each other unless you go really, really narrow with the design, and in which case you really only need to do a one-sided design if you're going to get that narrow. So I didn't even think about that before I placed these. I just put them there anyway. Timing. The key timing in this is these pistons have to fire at least 2 ticks after these pistons. It takes 2 ticks for a piston to extend, so it takes once these are triggered, it takes 2 ticks for it to push the block all the way up, where it can be pushed out. It can be more than 2 ticks, but it cannot be less, as far as I know. Anyway, theoretically, you could put one of these mass cobblestone generators on both sides there to make all 4 walls regenerate. You wouldn't need to make them push out to the floor. You just need to make them go straight up. But that might make it a bit more complicated when you can just put a regular wall here. I don't think the walls are going to be destroyed too much, so I don't think it's all that necessary. Dimensions, right? Dimensions. A single-sided design can go up to 12 wide because that's how far pistons can push. You can do less than that by placing a non-movable block where you want it to make stop, or if you have enough blocks on the other side so it won't push any further. A double-sided design can go anywhere from 12 to 24. Anywhere in between, just move them closer together. They're far enough apart by then that they will not push each other, so they'll act as they'll have their own limits built in. Okay, this way. Without the signal line, you can go up to 15 long, which is a decent size, actually. So a single side would go 12 wide by 15 long, which would be actually a pretty decent size, or you could do 12 by 12 or whatever. A double-sided without the signal line could be 15 by 15 or 15 by 24, which would be quite large as it is. You only need a signal line if you want to go bigger than that, in which case you could go theoretically endlessly. And I got like one on my last minute here, so I got to wrap this up. I don't know why you need an arena that big, but okay. I think that's it. Okay, rate, comment, subscribe if you want to see more. I'll be eventually posting more videos. And you have no idea how much trouble I've had making this video, so please comment or like or whatever, and I gotta end this video now. Okay.